Now streaming on Disney+. He's danced the hokey tokey with Tusken Raiders, relived the chase scene from Back to the Future Part 2. Now watch as the galaxy's most feared and badass bounty hunter relives the kitchen scene from Ratatouille. This show is getting to the point where Disney is just ripping off itself now?
You know who I am?
Seriously, what the hell is going on over at Lucasfilm? Any goodwill you were trying to win back is being completely squandered. Or at least Ming-Na Wen is nice to look at. Then watch as he gives Bantha scratchies and Treatos. Well, actually, that is the best part of the show. Tamura Morrison stars in the role that will eventually destroy his career in Kitchen Nightmare. What's next? Seriously, I don't even want to know at this point. But at least we get to see a Wookiee rip a guy's arm off. Now streaming on Disney+. What do you get when you give the least interesting character in the MCU your own show, and she turns out to be the worst part of her own series? You get the wacky adventures about her infinitely more interesting family. Don't miss Keeping Up with the Cons. See Mom and Dad get ready for Avenger Con. And then enjoy a night away from the kids watching cricket, dancing, and playing with their new unlicensed bootleg smart home device.
Zuzu, turn off the lights.
Oi!
When their ungrateful daughter, whose biggest aspiration is to be more like the whitest woman in the galaxy,
Drop the taco. Get in the car.
sneaks out of the house and goes to an underground rave at a Brooklyn squat, hilarity ensues when she puts on her grandma's bracelet and unleashes her hidden power. Ouch! It's more fun than you could shake a cricket bat at. Don't miss Keeping Up with the Cons, only on Disney+. You know, this all could have been avoided if her little friend had just told her parents that he was going with her. But what do I know? Coming up on the CW, it's prom night, and love is in the air. Until it's time to throw down! Sam and Miguel share a tender moment. But look who's crashing the party! Watch as young couples share a romantic dance. And fight! And dance fight! Be sure to watch an extra special episode of Kung Fu High Prom Night! Bam, bam, it's nap time. Bam, 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 it's nap time. Bam, 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 GTA 6. Bam, 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 basketball. Bam, 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 video games. Bam, 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 Star Trek. Bam, 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 porno music. Bam, 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 I like making. Bam, bam, bam. Grandpa Railroad, bound. Nothing to do with this. All right. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hammers in the morning, WNBC. How's everybody doing out there? Oh, boy, what a day. What a freaking day. Apparently, KK approved a lot of the bad scenes of Boba Fett because she hates Jon Favreau. Oh, jeez. There's news to me. Holy cow. Before we start, because we got not a lot of news, but we got some news, I did manage to do something fun last night. I went to see, who did I went to go see? Soul Asylum. Remember those wacky kids from Minneapolis? They had a couple big hits. Well, are they big hits? Significant hits, moderate hits. Yeah. Well, Runaway Train was the top 10. That was a pretty big hit. And back then, that's when the charts actually meant something. Yeah, I went to go see them. Free concert, but I had to pay for parking. $16 for parking, which isn't too bad.
You could have parked at Main Street Station for free, though. Now we know.
And knowing's half the battle.
I forgot it was down there.
Every time I'm gonna rip that and knowing's half the battle. Every time everyone says something, G.I. Joe. So. Cats in here. So okay, but this may be a surprise to some. But I was actually in a music video with Soul Asylum. I shouldn't say with them. Should I say with them?
No, it was their video.
It was their video, and I was there while they filmed it. It was filmed in 1995 at Toad's Place. 1995? When was that film? When the frick was that film?
So you're done by China must have been 95.
When was that freaking song
It had to
release?
be 95.
95. Yeah, it was 95.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah, it was 95.
Because Weird Al did all the parody stuff in 96.
Yeah. So I was actually in the crowd, and I do show up in the video. I do show up in the music video for Soul Asylum. It was filmed at Toad's Place, New Haven, Connecticut. They showed up. They did a video shoot there. I got into the building, and you could actually pick me out of the crowd. Now I've indicated where I am in the crowd, but I'm going to do a juxtaposition of last night's show and the music video shoot, and I have compiled a little something for you good people, and I hope you enjoy this. Ready? Here we go. So that's it. That's my claim to fame. It was for the song "Misery." So there you go. We were allowed to, yes. Shot almost 30 years apart, 27 years apart. The more things change, the more things do indeed stay the same, don't they? God, I haven't listened to Soul Simon in years. My nephew was very young at the time. He used to call him Soul Enema, which is a completely different thing. And we saw a guy by the name of Eddie Trunk, who I am not familiar with, but she is.
That metal show.
Yes, that metal show. And Zabamofu is sniffing around. He wants something, apparently. What? He wants quesadilla. He wants floor cheese. We're getting older. Yeah, we certainly are. Yeah, I get up in the morning. It sounds like my joints are making popcorn. Crack, 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 crack. The cat is up on the counter. Yeah, my nephew's now 60. My nephew's older than that. I got nephew's 32. And of course, he was born when I was very young. So, okay, we have to move on to some sad news. Okay, we had a couple of losses in the world, and this one is very near and dear to all of us. So, no, we lost, and sadly, we lost a legend in the Star Trek world. We lost the one, the only, the great Nichelle Nichols. Original Star Trek actress Nichelle Nichols dies at 89. She had been suffering from dementia for quite a while, and there was they were squabbling over her state. Nichelle Nichols, pioneering black actress, first played the role of Nyota Uhura in Star Trek: The Original Series, died Saturday night. Her son announced on Facebook she was 89. Last night, my mother, Nichelle Nichols, succumbed to natural causes and passed away. Her son, Kyle Johnson, wrote Sunday, her light, however, like the ancient galaxies now being seen for the first time, will remain for us and future generations to enjoy, learn from, and draw inspiration. When Star Trek premiered in 1966, Nichols is one of the few black women Why did it capitalize black? I don't know. That's a weird. I have to look into that. Starring in a major TV series, garnering legions of fans, not only among Trekkies, but civil rights activists. She admitted, however, that it took a plea from Martin Luther King to stop her from leaving the show after the first season to pursue a Broadway career. He asked what I was talking about and told me that I can't leave the show. She told the Wall Street Journal 2011. We talked for a long time about what it all meant, and the images on television tell us about ourselves. King had told Nichols that Star Trek was the only show that he and his wife let their kids stay up to watch. How about that? Saying it showed black people as we should be seen every day, and as intelligent, quality, beautiful people who can sing and dance and go to space, who are professors and lawyers. All lives matter. If you leave that door closed because your role is not a black role and is not a female role, he can fill it with anybody, even an alien, he told her. Oh, there's Jetsons news? Oh, yay, Jetsons. I love the Jetsons. Oh, I used to have, I need that as a ringtone. I need it as my ringtone again. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Where am I?
Star Trek news.
Yes. See, you distracted me. Nichols stayed on and embraced her iconic role, which included one of the first interracial kisses on screen. She appeared at conventions throughout the years and partnered with NASA to help recruit women astronauts. That's awesome. She was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1992. As Zoe Saldana later took over a famous role in 2009's reimagining and desecration of Star Trek. Bernice King, King's daughter, lauded Nichols' career in a Twitter post on Sunday. Representation matters. Yeah, okay, but okay, stop right there. It's not so much representation; is that they just didn't have her on for the sake of being on. They had her on because she served a vital function. She was a communications officer, and she did have her. She was portrayed as a real human being with fears and
Yeah, but
limitations.
In the 60s when representation actually meant something.
Yeah, now it's just representation. Now
it's a buzzword.
Yeah, it's a buzzword. But she was a fully fleshed out person. She's, you could describe her without saying what her job was. She liked to sing. She was, very generous. She was very, she seemed to have a nurturing nature too. She had a thing. Yeah, like with the trouble. Yes, she liked furry. She liked animals. Animal lover. See. Representation matters. Excellence representation matters even more. She wrote, "Rest well, ancestor." George Takei, the series' original Hikaru Sulu, tweeted that he would have more to say about trailblazing, incomparable Nichelle Nichols, who shared the bridge with us as Lieutenant Uhura of the USS Enterprise, who passed away today at age 89. For today, my heart is heavy with my eyes shining like stars. You now rest among my dearest friend, he wrote. Her later life was filled with some off-screen drama. Johnson, her son, filed a conservatorship petition in 2018, alleging that her former manager turned caretaker, Gilbert Bell, had exploited his mother's dementia. Johnson was moved from Woodland Hills, California, where she had Nichelle Nichols Johnson, whatever, where she had a home, to New Mexico with her son, according to the LA Times. Subsequently, retired from public appearances a year later. Her life was life well lived, and such a role model for all of us, her son wrote. So Nichelle Nichols, first black woman I remember having a crush on when I was a little kid. Oh, she's pretty. Yes, I am. So Nichelle Nichols has left us, leaving a significant mark on pop culture, television, society in general, really. Yes, she was a very beautiful woman, very attractive woman in her day. We used to bring this up all the time. It was at a time when there weren't many black women being portrayed on television. And again, that was important. And Whoopi Goldberg said when she was a little girl, she saw Star Trek. She ran into the other room, excited, and said, "Mama, Mama, Mom, or whatever house yours. Mom, there's a black lady on television and she ain't no maid. Another heartbreaking news. Pat Carroll, the voice of Ursula, the Little Mermaid, has passed away at the age of 95. Wow. Oh, yeah. I wasn't aware that she was still alive. Oh, wow. So breaking news right here. I should get a breaking news. I should make a breaking news bumper. So first, my first crush was on Esther from Sanford Son. Ooh. No, that movie itself. Not the movie itself. Breaking news. So, Nichelle Nichols, rest in peace, and rest in power. We also have more Trek news. Actually, we have more Trek news. What have we been saying about Star Trek? It needs to go away. That's right. Star Trek, listen, as much as I love Star Trek, if you can't get it right, then don't do it, okay? Don't do it at all. That's like how many times do you have to make a cake and get it wrong? Eventually you say, you know what? I'm just not going to make this cake anymore. If I can't get it right until I find the right recipe that I can follow.
You might not just be good at cooking.
Oh yeah, you might not be good at cooking. That's the other thing. Oh well. Try painting. Take up rollerblading. Try any myriad of hobbies. You're right. It is Star Trek anymore. Actually, New Trek. Yeah, people get really angry when they call it New Trek. But actually now, an executive on behalf of Gene Roddenberry, Roddenberry Entertainment, Trevor Roth, has said Star Trek deserves to return to the big screen.
I'd say it doesn't deserve to return.
Doesn't deserve? Can't real. He does think it does return to the big screen, but okay. Well, this gives us a counterpoint though. Let's read this. We can counterpoint this argument.
But I corrected their article and said it doesn't deserve to return.
Yes, you're right. It doesn't deserve to return because, like I said, can anybody remember the plot of Star Trek Beyond? Star Trek Beyond was supposedly the best one. I saw it in the movie at the movie theaters. I can't. Idris Elba wanted revenge on somebody. Can anybody tell me the plot of Into Darkness? Benedict Cumberbatch wants revenge. They're all revenge plots. Nero wants revenge. Everyone wants revenge. All they can do is revenge plots. They can't do anything. Yeah. Granted, Wrath of Khan, they wanted revenge.
Yeah, we already saw it. It was already good.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? Improve on it? That'd be like if we used funny clips from What the Dog.
Yes, exactly. So Star Trek deserves to return to the big screen, says Roddenberry exec Trevor Roth. Says Roddenberry Entertainment exec Trevor Noth.
Trevor Noah loves
Boo.
Star Trek back.
Yes, I do. I love Star Trek. I don't understand. You Americans are so stupid. Trevor Roth talks about plans for Star Trek 4, saying the franchise deserves to return to big screen. As far as I'm concerned, those plans that's dead in the water. We haven't heard hide nor hair of Star Trek 4. Star Trek deserves to return to the big screen, says CEO of Roddenberry Entertainment. Trek has been exclusively a small screen franchise since the release of Star Trek Beyond 2016. But plans are confirmed to be moving forward at Paramount for Captain Kirk and company to return in Star Trek 4 until they get scuttled again. The original big screen Enterprise crew, of course, made their own debut way back in 1979, back in the olden times, in Star Trek The Motion Picture. After 5 more movies with William Shatner and company at the helm, Star Trek in 1994 shifted its big screen focus to the next generation. With the legacy sequel, Star Trek Generations, the TNG cast would then get 3 more movies before Paramount elected to reboot Star Trek altogether with a new cast playing Kirk and the original Enterprise crew and Jughead Abrams in the directorial chair. Not reboot, bastardization. It remains to be seen if hopes of Star Trek 4 continuing Abrams' Kelvin timeline end up coming to pass, which means that they don't have any news. For his part, Roddenberry Entertainment CEO Trevor Roth believes Trek should continue on the big screen alongside its various ongoing small screen incarnations. Speaking exclusively to Screen Rant, Roth said, "We're very excited." Should I read this as we're very excited for Star Trek to return to the big screen. I know a lot of it is being worked over on Paramount in regard to that. Unfortunately, the details of which, why does he sound so gay? I'm not able to divulge, but I can say that it is definitely something that a lot of energy, a lot of focus being brought to. And we're very, very excited to continue to see what we can do when you're talking about these large audiences in theaters when it comes to Star Trek. Because I think it deserves it. And that people enjoy it that way. It's no surprise, of course, that Roth is not able to divulge any details about ongoing efforts to get Star Trek 4 off the ground. At least according to Scotty actor Simon Pegg, the biggest obstacle in the way of making Star Trek 4 happen is the logistics of getting the cast back together to get, given everyone's busy schedules. They didn't even know. They didn't even know that there was they didn't even know. We're making Star Trek 4? Chris Pine said it's a terrible idea. It should be a smaller scale movie. It should be smaller scale movies. Yeah. You didn't even confirm it with the cast. I'm trying not to yell because this is idiotic on its face.
They drop it just to keep projects in the works, according to their.
Yeah, they try to generate excitement. They try to will these things into existence, and it doesn't work. Star Trek, they're still making those? Ah, for fuck's sake, people. It does, however, look like things are moving forward. That's what you keep saying. As Paramount, Brian Robbins said in June, we're deep into Star Trek 4 with J.J. Abrams. And it feels like we're going close. We're getting close to the starting line. They're getting close to the starting line. Not that it's definitely, we're getting close to the starting line. And excited about where we're going creatively. You're going nowhere creatively. Why modern Star Trek shows are so divisive. Oh, we'll bring this up. Okay, we'll bring that up. Fans would obviously be excited to see Star Trek come back at least for one more go around on the big screen with the 2009 cast. No, I wouldn't. No. Too late. Bring back Carl Urban if you want. Just blow the rest of them out an airlock. But even if that doesn't happen, it's a great time to be a small screen Trek fan, given the number of offerings. No, it's not. This is the worst time to be a Trek fan because it's just what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a parody of itself.
Mm-hmm. It is a melodramatic cry fest. For God's sake, everybody's trauma blocked. But even if that doesn't happen, it's a great. Okay, we read that. Roddenberry Entertainment is committed to keeping the Trek franchise alive, and streaming is definitely making it a lot easier for them to do that. The big screen, however, is a different challenge, especially in the age of the MCU. The sad truth is that Star Trek Beyond was a disappointment at the box office, and when it was released back in 2016, pardon me, Paramount obviously still believes in the Star Trek movie franchise despite this, and as it continues putting pieces in place for Star Trek 4 to become reality. But okay, here's one of the things though. Now, you're going to have to admit at some point, because we got 3 different versions of Spock, we got 3 different versions of Kirk, we got 3 different versions of everything. You're going to have to admit that Star Trek is a reboot on television, at least. It's an alternate timeline in the movies, okay, and you could just dismiss it if you want. But as far as the television shows, you're gonna have to admit that this is a reboot.
They don't want to.
They don't want them. No, they don't want. And we saw when was on CNN or whatever it was, Star Trek reboot. You know, it's the reboot. They quickly. Oh no, we have to change. We have to correct this.
Because they don't want that secret getting let out. It's a reboot.
No, because it devalues the whole thing. It would devalue the whole thing.
Well, I heard rumors they treat that like a dirty word. Like anybody who says that gets yelled at.
But they get yelled at by Alex Kurtzman.
Absolutely.
It's not a reboot. How dare you say that? No, it's not. We make it look modern so people pay money to watch it. No, they don't. I'm a good producer. That's to me, that's how he sounds like. If you put the JJ Trek movies, TNG era show, TOS shows, TMP movies side by side, DVD aisle, all the same price, no one would buy the JJ shit or new Trek series. You're right. Nobody would buy it. Kirsten rams his fist through another TV screen. Did he do that? He punches screen and go, oh,
Yeah, bounces off.
boink, oh. Alex has not made anything good. Everything he makes peters out. Everything. It starts out strong. That freaking Sleepy Hollow show started out strong. People lost interest. Well, that was another one of his things. That Hawaii 5-0. Again, Peter. Again, he just. We all know this, but you can see the pattern. He comes along, and he just appropriates stuff. Clarice, the man who fell to earth.
Oh, Clarice had super good.
Oh, Clarice was.
I feel like he canceled mid-season.
Got the frag. Serious question. Why do you think none of the fan channels on YouTube are talking about the Orville like at all? Glad you asked that question.
I've been talking about the Orville.
We've been talking about the
They
Orville.
want to get yelled at by the right-wing
Well, let me keep going with this, okay? And let me just finish up with the Trek news, and I will address that. Got the frag. I don't know if you're setting me up, but I will. You set it up, and I'll knock it down. But let's go over why let's bring this up, and then that will lead into the Orville. Okay.
I've been covering the Orville. I'm just 2 episodes behind because it's a lot to recap.
Yes.
Hour and a half. So
Well, yeah, it's getting like Sherlock, where the episodes are getting longer. It's almost like you're reviewing a movie.
Yeah.
You're reviewing a 90-minute movie. Why modern Star Trek TV shows are so divisive? Because they suck. Much of Star Trek's modern output has endured a divisive reception. But why has the iconic sci-fi franchise evolved into such a contentious beast? Because it sucks. Modern Star Trek has become strangely divisive, which factors made it so. Charting a course across small screens and big screens, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek endured where so many others sank. But at no point has the good ship Star Trek been invulnerable. Star Trek, the original series of Season 3, and Star Trek Next Generation, Season 1, both weathered stormy seas. Okay, stop right there. Even though it wasn't nearly as good, there were still good episodes. Roughly, only a third of all Star Trek episodes are actually good. And I'm saying that unironically. So we see there's a whole legend about the odd number of movies being cursed, and the Enterprise landed to widespread indifference. 2013 Star Trek Into Darkness is arguably the first example of modern Star Trek division. No, actually, the 2000.
Liked, but
oh, I'm sorry, Naranja. Sorry, I gave him a little nudge. Sorry, buddy. You're right under my feet.
It's universally pretty much well liked, but nobody cares about it. It's like a Big Mac or a McDonald's double cheeseburger.
It doesn't.
You're not gonna write a review about how good it was.
It's if you're hungry, it'll do. It'll do in a pinch. It's not going to be great. It's not like having a steak at a really good restaurant. 2013 first example of modern Star Trek division. Despite strong reviews and a predecessor that successfully reignited mainstream fortunes, Star Trek Into Darkness is frequently voted among the franchise's very worst cinematic endeavors in fan polls because it's just a rehash of Wrath of Khan. It's a rehash of Wrath of Khan. The same spirit has permeated over to TV, with Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks all coming under fire. Only Star Trek Strange New Worlds evaded the cruel sting of the audience ire. The division of modern Star Trek can partly be attributed to far wider culture chasm. Here we go. Right-wing press amusingly accused Star Trek Strange New Worlds of going political, and as the
What?
that's what it says. That's
Really?
what,
Strange Worlds of going political.
and as the franchise makes efforts to increase.
Actually, they did. They did flip out over that one little scene, even though they showed more BLM riots than they did. Than they did the January 6th.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and as the franchise makes efforts to increase cast diversity and representation, buzzwords, vocal minority will always seek to devalue progress by crying wokeness. Yeah, but you stop.
That's not progress.
Okay, you stop the episode dead in its tracks to remind everyone what a character's pronouns are. It was completely unnecessary. It derailed the scene, and it just like this looks really out of place because in the 23rd century, nobody would care.
Nobody's oppressed.
Nobody's being oppressed. It's also true that social media has amplified toxicity within fandoms across the board. So this is yeah.
Send me that article. I'll yell
Yeah.
about that tomorrow.
I don't know how old it is, but we could say this is one I missed. One need only look to Moses Ingram's Star Wars. Oh, this is fairly recent. Backlash, the Rings of Power comment sections, and the Snyder Cut hashtags to see how quickly fires can catch. For Star Trek specifically, however, why have modern TV audiences proven so divisive? Star Trek modern shows are very different. Addressing Star Trek Discovery's backlash at SDCC 2022. So this is recent. Seneca Martin Green, I will. Seneca Martin Green struck upon a crucial truth underlying the biggest factor behind modern Star Trek criticism. The Michael Burnham actress graciously conceded, let's be real. We are very different than other iterations, and we had to find ourselves. We had to find our identity and settle into it. Wait a minute. So Deep Space Nine didn't have a different identity than TNG. TNG Voyager didn't have a different identity than Voyager didn't have a different identity than Deep Space Nine. Enterprise didn't have a different identity than everything.
Between all those is that they didn't turn it into this crybaby bullshit of Zoomers crying and
oh my god,
being entitled and this whole bullshit of I can't do my job without a panic attack, like the Kayla Detmer shit.
Oh my god! I wish you could see me now.
Yeah, the oh my godses of the kids who are there, basically not like
Robert Meyer.
They have breakdowns about being able to do their job.
Robert Meyer Burnett actually put it very well on one of his observations that this is millennial Star Trek. They show up in the 31st century and they start telling Starfleet what to do. Yeah. That's the thing.
No respect for anything that came before.
No respect for anything that came before it. You can tell. Is Nichelle Nichols on? Let's take a look at Star Trek's website. Hold on. StarTrek.com. Let me see if there's any mention of Nichelle Nichols. William Shatner on his birthday. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm shocked. They actually do have a splash page. William Shatner on his birthday. No mention of it.
Well, it just happened. It was just announced. They probably don't have the day on.
Yeah, they have it. It's on the Star Trek webpage. Celebrate 40 years of Wrath of Khan. And the second thing, discovering Michael Burnham, embracing my autistic experience. Everybody is damaged. Everybody has some sort of trauma.
Everybody stands around and waits for Michael Burnham to do everything.
Yeah. From Star Trek original series through Enterprise, the core of Star Trek remained largely untouched. The franchise evolved, deviated, and updated, but even when quality went AWOL, Star Trek felt like Star Trek. The launch of Star Trek Discovery in 2017 verged upon a wholesale reinvention, tonally darker and deliberately more mature.
That's not maturity.
That's not mature. That's
as mature as a 10-year-old screaming the N-word into a microphone in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Literally, because that's what they started doing. They just started dropping F-bombs.
I said about when I saw Batman versus Superman. And there are a lot of people who like Batman versus Superman said, "Oh, it's more mature, more mature. It's not a kidified as Marvel." I said, "Really? You think this seeing buildings topple over and a body count that reaches to the sky? That's mature. People drowning in skulls. That's mature." I said that is. I said that no. I said that is what I would deem being somebody who's developmentally arrested.
You want to see mature? Look at Claire and Isaac's relationship stuff. Every time she talks to Kelly about her relationship, that's mature.
Yeah.
That's
Star
an
Trek,
adult way of dealing with relationships.
Star Trek Discovery drops the franchise's swashbuckling and accentuates its interpersonal drama. Oh, and the crying, and replaces weekly episodic adventures with long-form serialized storytelling.
We already have that in Deep Space Nine.
We had yes. Star Trek Picard deviates even further from Uncle Gene's original recipe, doubling down on the serialized structure and heavier tone, while Star Trek Lower Decks heads up the opposite direction by channeling outright comedy for a total alien experience. Lower Decks is not Star Trek.
This is Rick and Morty.
Lower Decks is Rick and Morty in space. And Rick and Morty often goes into space. Lower Decks is annoying. Lower Decks is nothing but references. Lower Decks is what the result of somebody searching Google all day. And how many of those references they can put into an episode. Modern Star Trek shows redefine what the Star Trek label means, and that unfamiliarity breeds contempt. No, it's bad. That's the fact that it's bad breeds contempt. The overwhelmingly positive reaction to Strange New Worlds is the exception to prove that rule. A lot of people still don't like Strange New Worlds. As Pike's Enterprise strikes a happier, light, dark blend and heralds a return to the episodic days of yore. The problem,
It really isn't episodic, though.
they're just ripping off and rewriting everything else. There is the common thread that runs through it of Pike knows his future.
Yeah.
The problem Seneca Martin Green eloquently describes that Star Trek Discovery, finding its own niche, isn't inherently negative. Heading into season 5, stop calling it disco, because you just said bringing disco sucks. The disc, too easy. It's not, and don't be mad at me. It's not something I invented. The disco gang command a loyal following of who? The same people on Twitter, comprised of pre-existing fans who enjoy Star Trek Discovery on its own merits. Nobody enjoys Star Trek Discovery on its own merits.
No, they like it because their cult says they have to.
And newcomers who maybe didn't enter with any strong preconception of Star Trek, what Star Trek should be. I'm not a fan of Star Trek, but...
Hey, as long as they give the Lord of the Rings the same treatment and make them on a bridge of an Enterprise or something.
Serialized formatting has, at the very least, allowed Star Trek Discovery to avoid feeling derivative. And yet it feels like it's ripped off everything else. And the tonal switch has meant stories covering mental health, grief, and family can be told with depth and nuance. Of what depth? They're crying all the time. Crying all the time doesn't mean it's deep.
The depth and nuance of a shot glass full of water thrown in your face. That's how much depth and nuance.
Boldly going where Star Trek hasn't gone before isn't always a bad thing, but this is bad. This is bad. This is bad on its face. You're sitting there with a straight face defending this. You are defending. Who's this guy? Who's this asshole? Who had Craig Elvey? Craig Elvey. We're gonna look up who Craig Elvey is. Now, don't harass him, please. Please don't harass Craig Elvey. Let me see what's Craig Elvey's. Craig. Oh.
He deserves it, though.
Read more. Craig Elvey is okay. Okay, what a bunch of Craig Elvey. Let me see if he Den of Geek. Oh, he's got Den of. He's a freelancer. Oh, there he is, Craig Elvey. Okay. He's got sunglasses, muck rack. Screen journalist. He doesn't have a picture to go with it. Well, the picture on screen ran. He has glasses on, sunglasses. Freaking 8 hours ago. Published 8 hours ago. Okay, yeah, I will. Modern Star Trek has broken canon. It's not breaking canon. It is just tell us it's a reboot. Just say it. This is a reboot. That's all. Then we can ignore it.
You know what?
Exactly.
I won't pay for it until they say it's a reboot.
Changes to the established canon are sacrosanct for many movie and TV franchises, but with over half a century of lore to consider, modern Star Trek poses an especially tricky continuity nightmare. Star Trek Lower Decks can be excluded by virtue of its madcap comedy stylings, but even then they try. It's like they try to have it both ways. But Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard have both played fast and loose with fictional history. Star Trek Discovery's biggest bugbear is the Klingon Empire, as the veteran baddies undertook a physical and cultural makeover that went down about as well as a Tribble's furball. Yeah,
now to bring the Worf back and he looks normal.
Yeah, explain that one.
That just admits that it failed.
The fact that you have so much prosthetic makeup on, they can't talk. Not only were Star Trek Discovery's Klingons virtually unrecognizable from their predecessors, should that be descendants, but the species' entire aesthetic was altered and their culture morphed into a hyper-religious cult movement. Star Trek Discovery made efforts to explain these changes, but more canon wrinkles kept arising. Because you pull one thread of a sweater and the whole thing unravels. The Federation wore Spock's secret sibling, knowing what the Gorn looked like, etc. Eventually, Star Trek Discovery took the wise decision to relocate itself 900 years into the future, where canon eggshells aren't as easily stepped on. And 3 and 4 are vastly improved result. No, they're still dumb because Mikey Spock's mommy had to bail her out of a jam. How much this keeps going on. Star Trek Picard finds itself tripping into similar pitfalls. Jean-Luc's bleak Season 1 characterization feels far removed from its traditional persona. The Federation is almost dystopian, and it's run by women. And that proves that they, you see. The Federation, everybody in a position of authority is a woman. They were so hell-bent on doing that, and the Federation is now turned to shit. Congratulations. You proved to it. The only thing you by going after this gender identity, the only thing you proved is that women are incompetent. Thanks. Way to go. Star Trek Picard Season 2 then shuffles franchise timeline with regard to World War III, eugenics wars, and it doesn't stand this to forget Jean-Luc Picard had a brother, despite making passing mention of poor Robert. Robert's away at school. Most viewers, even the unhappy ones, can appreciate how adhering to almost 60 years of canon isn't feasible. It is if you know what you're doing. They don't. And even the beloved Strange New Worlds has fiddled with continuity when convenient. When a TV series like Star Trek Discovery rolls along promising to completely redefine the brand, however, obvious, sometimes pointless canon changes like giving the Klingon race an all-over wax deepen the disconnect between the past and present. Audiences could quickly feel like the fictional universes they'd already invested in no longer matter. Is the Star Trek backlash really worse or just louder? No, it's worse. One quick glance, here's where he tries to dismiss it. One quick glance at internet discourse, and you'd be forgiven for assuming Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks are a three-way affront to good taste. They are. A corporate conveyor belt of content to keep Paramount Plus afloat with no regard for quality, respect, or for history. Given how almost everything pre-Enterprise is discussed with reverence, you'd almost be forgiven for believing the backlash of modern Star Trek shows is a new phenomenon. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here in 2022, declaring Star Trek Next Generation the best Star Trek TV series is not an especially controversial opinion. But when Jean-Luc Picard's crew first set sail in 1987, here we go. Audiences were singing a very different tune. Viewers
literally not true. This has been debunked time and time again. This is goddamn gaslighting.
Yeah. Here, the viewers compared this bold newcomer unfairly against the original series, critiqued the new cast, and were generally skeptical of the franchise's expansion. Only in Star Trek Next Generation season 3. Season 3 did the wind start blowing. The Enterprise is destroyed. Okay, all right. Deep Space Nine was shunned initially. No, I don't remember being shunned initially. Dismissed as unnecessarily dark and not in the spirit of Star Trek. I don't remember that.
It kind of was, but nobody. They didn't attack you and call you a racist if you didn't like it. That was the difference. The difference wasn't us. The difference is that.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Like, yeah, the difference is you didn't get called a racist.
You weren't called a racist.
Cisco, or if you didn't like Deep Space Nine. Imagine if Deep Space Nine aired now. They would have every article under the sun saying, "Oh, if you don't like Cisco, you're a racist."
If you don't like
Deep Space Nine, you're a racist.
If you don't like Janeway, you're a misogynist.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine was shunned initially to not eerily similar to criticisms those aimed at Star Trek Discovery. And until Alex Kurtzman took the reins, but they're not. And until Alex Kurtzman took the reins, Star Trek Voyager was the TV series everyone loved to hate. Before those opinions gradually softened over time, because it holds up better over now.
It was better once they got rid of those first 3 seasons, but it was never that bad. That's the difference. It was never that bad, and they never attacked you for not liking it.
By season,
they just kept making it, and then you came back to it, and it was okay.
And by season 4,
yeah, and now I got a chip on my shoulder from the freaking assholes on Twitter, from the way the articles are written, from the producers, and I'm gonna have to go down to the Star Trek experience and say, hey, you didn't call us racists in the 80s or the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't call us all these names. You didn't bring political affiliations into it.
All the things they said, hey, just when you read an article, hey, you know what, we're working hard, give us a chance,
Even if we did complain, it was still, they never attacked us for complaining.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, here's where he sums up. If modern Star Trek feels more divisive, that's because of the medium through which those opinions are given. Criticisms of Star Trek Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Voyager were limited to the slow grind of print media, strongly worded letters. Okay, he kind of has a point here. An early dial-up internet.
Yes, but my point's better in that none of those articles came out and said everybody's just a racist. So.
Yeah, but to that I would answer. I would rebut. Okay, that may be true. However, you didn't attack fans back then for not liking Janeway, Cisco, or Picard.
Mm-hmm. And everybody liked Cisco. They just didn't like the rest of them. People didn't like Kira.
Yeah.
Kira was a bitch. I hate to say it.
She was a real bitch. You really needed to hate a TV show to wait until your mother finishes her landline phone call before typing out a blog that takes 3 hours to upload. Oh, you asshole. Somewhat ironically, technological advances have
turned it off, and we didn't have a personal grudge and start channels because we got tired of being attacked and not liking it. That's the big difference. Or
you know what you did? You wrote this thing called a letter.
But a lot of us just turned it off and we left.
Yeah.
And then they wondered, well, why are the shows getting views? Because I didn't
really,
like it that much.
Really dedicated fans would sit down, write a letter, fire it off to the producers.
Yeah.
Fire it off to the network.
That's the difference. You could be a less hardcore fan too. You could just be a more casual fan without having to prove your worth and answer a million trivia questions on social media.
You really need to hate a TV show to wait. Okay, somewhat ironically, technological advances have been to Star Trek's detriment. Every single viewer now can share their immediate reactions with a few thumb swipes. And the nature of social media promotes stronger partisan viewpoints over balance, creating an echo chamber that amplifies negativity. Star Trek has undoubtedly changed its style over the past decade. Modern Star Trek backlash shows the media. The modern Star Trek backlash, however, isn't fundamentally much different than 30 years ago. I would say it is because of the response to it. Again, the response to it is you now feel the need to try and shame fans into liking it. You feel the need, you being the producers, you being the producers and the Access Media, much like you, Mr. Craig Elvey, feel the need to attack fans for being wrong, for being what, in your eyes, what you determine is wrong. You feel the need to defend a show that is so poorly written that they have twice in the same episode referenced sonar in space, something that is a scientific impossibility.
A show that's so bad they rebooted it 4 times. They rebooted it midway through season 1 to go into the Mirror Universe. They rebooted it in season 2 to change crews. They rebooted it in season 3 to go with Pike and everybody. They rebooted it in season 4 to go into the future.
It has been it was rebooted in mid-season. It was so bad.
They fired how many showrunners? 7?
They've
gone through 7 showrunners. It's so bad. This isn't
I'm
us.
I'm
This isn't on us. They didn't also call you a sexist or racist, try and ruin you, attack you, try and bully you off the internet for just reviewing something.
I'm gonna listen. I'm bring sports ball reference into this. If you're playing on a team and you have 5 coaches in 4 years, you're not going to win. That team's not going to win. You're never going to win a championship if you have 5 coaches. How do you expect this show to be good when you keep changing directions every season? You have nobody with a laid out vision. Robots almost makes sense as the turbo lifts or disco being vortexes. So, yeah, I mean that's it. How big? Oh God, the turbo lift is really particularly inane. Oh my God, you have all these roller coasters inside this ship. Space is at a premium inside a ship. Really, you feel the need to attack fans. Why do you feel the need to attack fans? They try to keep it relevant. Anyway, I must go now. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, Donnie. Agent Orange Cat is being particularly needy. The first season of actually did suck though. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either. Yeah, that was the worst you could say about it. It had its moments. And the fact that we have to defend it now, the fact that you have to defend this piece of crap, only tells me that we are still how many years? 5 years out. We are 5 years out, and we are 5 Star Trek series into this.
They're still trying to find excuses.
And you're still making excuses like this. You made excuses like this in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. You're making excuses. We're 5 years into this new Star Trek, and we're still seeing these. We're still trying to justify why Star Trek sucks. You're still trying to justify why. You're still trying to defend. All that tells me is you're just trying to gaslight the fans. That's all it is. That's all it is. You're trying to gaslight the fans. You're trying to make excuses. You're trying to defend. Why you're trying to defend Alex Kurtzman, I'll never know. Star Trek, Senior Stakes, Star Trek needs to go away. It really does. It needs to go away for a while. So it'd come back to something else. You're defending. They killed Jean-Luc Picard and put him in a robot body. Okay? They killed Picard and put him in a robot body. That is a plot point that's unfathomable. How would I fix Star Trek? I would go post Voyager. I would do a post Voyager. I would do a post Voyager series. And I would have it be based on the Makos or whatever they are. Well, okay. Anyway, that was me. The special troubleshooters that they have. So that way, it would be a different premise every week. See, here's the inherent problem. They keep wanting to do prequels. Everybody wants to do a prequel nowadays. Everybody, they want to do a prequel. Oh yeah, we're gonna do a prequel. Don't you want to see? Don't you want to see an origin story? No, I don't. No, I don't. And it is. It's a backdoor. It's a backdoor reboot. Yeah, Casino Royale was a reboot of James Bond, as like you said. Now they're gonna have to reboot it again. Stop with the reboots. Stop with the prequels. I would do a post Voyager series again with the specialists about the specialists, and that way I would have a a different episode every week. Star date 421.27. We're responding to the Ardesian plague on Cestus 7 or whatever it is.
So you know why they don't do that though? They do a reboot or a prequel so they can completely reboot the series with just enough so they get a lot of money off of somebody else's work.
Yeah.
That's all it is how to steal. They're basically stealing other people's work at this point.
Is anybody? No, they can't. No, they can't do anything, and they don't want to be bothered with all the lore and everything. They want to erase the original series is what it is. That's what they want to do. They want to erase the original series so that when you think Star Trek, this is what you think of. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take another 50 years before we're all gone to do that. And unfortunately, let's hope Alex Kurtzman doesn't live that long either. I can't stand that. I can't stand this. I cannot stand this. This is it's asinine what they're doing. And to have to defend this, you're still 5 years later, you're still defending it. Stop. Just stop. Stop trying. Are you trying to convince me or are you trying to convince you at this point? That's what you would say to people. Are you trying to convince me or trying to convince yourself? I had an idea for a Star Trek film post-Nemesis where Alpha Quadrant is under attack from species 8472, but only the ranks above captain know about the species. Oh, that's actually good. That's actually a really good idea. The fact that this article came out clearly proves they aren't getting the numbers of viewers Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's going to be the same for season 3 of STP.
How many people were out after episode 5 of Picard when they pulled each other's eye out? They were done, and then they were done.
Oh my God! Yeah, it's really it's.
Well, you're going to talk about the Orville too.
Well, okay. Someone had asked about why a lot of the channels aren't covering the Orville. First of all, let's bring up. I don't want to bring up.
I'm covering the Orville.
But like I said, but the fact again, I spent way too much time on this. But the fact, like I said, we're still seeing these. It's very silly of this article. Let me see. To dismiss the eager wokeness complaints of Discovery Picard, no one dismisses diversity. It's the oversized emphasis of wokeness that is poured into these series by the writers who live in the woke bubble. Picard saw Raffi go from hardened warrior to giddy girlfriend. That sharp character change was way over the top, unnecessary, proved unless there was an agenda to push. Sadly, contributes to sites like Screen Rant that stoke up criticism, character along racial, sexual line, or orientation lines. Look, Rose Tico was a flawed character who ruined Finn. It had nothing to do with her race. Same goes for Moses Ingram's character, Obi-Wan. Admit you're a spy.
And Moses Ingram is the best part of Obi-Wan. She makes it watchable, and she makes my live streams fun, and we love her so much. We love Rita.
That's right, make it random. You love me, don't you?
She's great.
That's right, make it random. I'm coming to get you. Re.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of the word woke too. I really am. Well, listen, it's getting to a point. It's become a word of contention within certain circles. I mean,
I don't even care about anything being woke anymore. I'm like, make it work, make it more diverse, make it as hilarious as possible.
Yeah.
I am going to play by your rules now.
Re.
That was the chair.
That was the chair. Okay, so I'm gonna. But we wondered. Okay, hold on.
Literally, that kind of ties into it.
Bounding the comic the Orville archives. Okay, but
No, it was the Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, okay, but I'm looking up their archives. Now, I saw this the other day, and we wondered why. We were asked earlier why people aren't talking about the Orville, and something's up. I have to think something's up. I don't know what somebody has planned. I don't know what it is, but this lends into something that I said in my video. I made a video not that long ago saying that the audience for the Orville has the audience that was once praising it is now there's been a tectonic shift, as it were.
Everybody got radicalized and rewriting Ripley was right.
I'm getting to that.
Spoiler.
Now, there has been a tectonic shift in the fandom. Now, I know it sounds like I'm blaming the fandom, I'm hopping on board, but in this case, it happens to be true. Because listen, regardless of if you think of her, what you think of her politics, the fact that I don't want to call this a hit piece, but this does look like an attempt to
set him up to cancel him.
Yeah, there does look like an attempt here to paint him in a certain light.
It's exactly the same type of articles we see for Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
I mean, this is exactly like the Chris Pratt and Letitia Wright articles when they're talking about being anti-vax.
Rosario Dawson. I mean, we've seen this before.
We've seen these articles before. We just haven't seen somebody from our own side since, well, maybe ever heard.
But the irony of this, now listen, Seth MacFarlane's he's a private citizen. He could do whatever he wants. He could do with his money. He could take his money and he could light it, put it in a paper bag, light it on fire, throw it out his car window for all I care. I don't give a crap. Okay. Yeah, and there's no secret to this either. He's always been on the left. Brian is a stand-in for Seth MacFarlane, a Family Guy. But to say, and the thing is, he made these donations 2 years ago, and why this is coming out now really says to me like something's up. Something up. You really. And now all you have to do is take a look at, I'm not going to bring up the site, but you know who they are. You know who the usual suspects are. You take a look at the fandom and the people adjacent to the fandom and people that the fandom follow. There's been a seismic shift in perception. The Topa episodes of the Orville, which brought the.
Can I sum it up?
Hold on, I'm working on the Toba episodes of the Orville have been regarded as being too woke. Oh, too woke. Seth MacFarlane's a groomer. Groomers. Okay, we're about this. Say.
They went from supporting the people who are trying to stop gender reassignment surgery on a child to turn from female to male.
A child who was...
Yeah, they went from the exact same point of, no, this child still needs to be female, and now people all of a sudden have a problem with it. It's literally the exact same stance, and they can't get over that episode. I can't talk about the succeeding episodes, the episodes that come after on my streams, without people showing up wanting to complain about how woke the show was, despite having stayed in the exact same position of don't force this child to have this operation against their will, without their consent, to its child sex change now, because she chose it herself, even though it's the exact same gender, wanting to stay the gender she was born.
Yes, I do not feel, Topa said herself, I do not feel I fit into this body. There's something wrong with me. And they told her the truth. You were born female. Now it's up to you. Do you want to remain a male? Do you want to become a female? And they said, and some people are saying, yes, that's actually the point we were trying to make, Mad Pirate. Topa was born a female in the first place.
Yeah. And people are now mad that she chose to change from male to female.
Isn't there a big deal about, you should identify as the sex you were genetically born with? She is. Yeah. She literally is.
I agree. the right complaining.
Topa. Topa is the child of Bortus and Clyden, who was born female, and being born female in the Moclan society is considered an aberration. Females are looked down upon. They are removed from society.
Or they change certain cultures. It's supposed to be rare in your life.
Yes, Toba is a character on the Orville. But again, we are seeing now something is afoot. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to try to cancel Seth MacFarlane. It certainly seems like it.
They don't cancel. They just hold.
Well, that's a word for canceling.
Yeah, that they call. Oh no, they have to hold accountable.
Because we've seen now what
Amber
happens.
Yeah, they did the same with Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. There is no doubt. Listen, he went woke with the show. He went too political.
It was always the same.
The political commentary on the Orville has only gotten sharper. And if you're saying now that the show's gone political, the show has always been political. They've talked about transgender rights. They talk about gay rights, same-sex marriage. They've talked about the military-industrial complex, sex addiction, drug addiction. They've talked about variety of different topics. Women's rights, body sovereignty. They've talked about these issues before. They're trying to make all non-SJW leftists turn against him since he won't bend the knee. Let's see. It's no secret Seth MacFarlane's critical Republican Party, but a new report revealed that his disdain has gone as far as to lead him to donate a large sum of money. Okay, even if we have to take a look at the language here. Disdain, critical Republican Party, disdain. Donate the large sum of the Nancy Pelosi. As per the report at SF Gate, which is, I believe it's a San Francisco-based site. SF Gate is, it's, can't find, what are they? About SF Gate, let me see. SF Gate launched the large media markets chronicle. Yeah, it's a San Francisco-based site, and she represents that area. It's supported by SF Gate in May of this year. Family Guy, American Dad, Orville created as a Democrat mega donor, having contributed some. You could have went to OpenSecrets.org and saw it. Having contributed some of $300,650,000 to Democratic Grassroots Victory Fund, a political action committee that helps fund state-level branches of the party. This followed his staggering 2020 donation of $865,000, which actually is more than $500 than left-wing billionaire George Soros. George Soros. There you go. I knew you were going to try to connect Soros to this. For context, as per Democratic Grassroots Victory Fund donation stipulations, the PAC is able to accept under $875,000 from an individual donor and up to $405,000 from a multi-candidate committee in a calendar year. Leading up to the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the creator donated $263,400 in Nancy Pelosi's Victory Fund, a political action committee that sends the first $5,800 to the House Speaker's campaign efforts. And I need a swig of water because my throat's getting dry. While the remainder of the donation is sent to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the report notes that Pelosi didn't really need to raise funds for her own political campaign, as given her current status, she will almost certainly win without campaigning. Listen, congressional races are often layups, okay? The report comes in light of MacFarlane having for years kept his wealth a complete mystery. Hold on, wait a minute. Whoa. Didn't a certain YouTuber say it's a real bitch move to ask how much money you make?
Count other people's money is a bitch move.
Counting other people's money is a bitch move.
Yeah, here you go. You respond with that with a tweet.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Not only that, we've known Seth MacFarlane's a billionaire.
We know he
and
has
A
money.
certain person who doesn't like other people counting other people's money literally sucked up to a billionaire for access.
Okay, well, like I said, we all know. Listen, let me see if I can find. Let me see.
There you go. I'll send it to you on Twitter.
Did Bounding actually? Hold on.
There you go, Rob.
YouTuber, it comes up in the search. How much money do you make? Let me see. Hold on. Savage second rumor. Okay, it's not a Bounding.
I sent you the tweet.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it wasn't Bounding.
But Bounding didn't.
Well, this is when everybody's trying to cancel everybody's brownie super chats they got off of Amber Heard. When everybody was sending that.
Well, anyway, okay. While the remainder of donations sent to the Democratic Congressional campaign, the report notes that Pelosi really didn't need to raise any funds. Okay, yeah, campaign, read that. The report comes in light of McFarlane having for years kept the wealth a complete mystery. During an interview with ABC, Barbara Walters, 2012, host estimated Family Guy creator was making over $30 million a year. Estimated. Like I said, we know. You take a look at go in the stores, look at all the Family Guy shit. We know that. A few years back, as of November 2008, to be precise, Family Guy franchise was estimated worth a whopping $2 billion, with $400 million of it earning syndication far outweighing $2 million per episode price tag of each episode. Whatever the case, it's evident McFarlane will spare no expenses when it comes to countering GOP and its conservative ideals. I thought the idea was to get politics out of our entertainment. It just seems the message I'm getting here is get everyone's politics except the politics we want, except our politics. Not a fan of Soros as he wrecked the British economy for personal gain in the 90s, but when he gets blamed for everything, there's other factors at play, if you know what I mean. Yes, I do know what I mean. Tax breaks, anti-SJ's numbers, there were social media groups, nothing else to track Pelosi's husband's best. Yeah, I know that. I know about that. An avid supporter of abortion. Here we go. This is where we're setting them up to be taken down. An avid supporter of abortion, McFarlane has been very vocal about his support for the practice.
See, he's not one of us. He's not one of us. He's a heathen. He is a heathen, and he needs to be put to death.
Often taking social media to vent frustrations against Republican oppositions to it. In May, the television creator smeared. Oh, it's a smear. Former White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany over her assertion that if Roe v. Wade is indeed overturned, a scourge upon America's conscience will be no longer. Some of these Bachelor contestants are fucking nuts, he says. So it's a smear. Let me see. Hold on.
You can't like Seth MacFarlane or else you're out of the group. If you like the Orville, you're out of the group now. That's how they trim all the fat away. So that's the new one that they're going to cancel. So be careful if you like the Orville and you want to be part of the group. They'll probably stop talking to you.
So,
and this is why they haven't been covering the Orville.
This is
why they're too afraid, because it's so damn good. However,
marching. Some of these, okay, it's worth noting that McFarlane's tastes tweet targeting McEnany's comment. Because Kayleigh McEnany is an idiot, okay? I'm not afraid to say that. She really is. She is a dope. She's a Stepford wife. And what? The news bimbo here.
Yeah, they got a new one. They got a black version of her now. She's just as dumb. The new one's just as dumb as her.
Yeah. McEnany. Let me finish. As we're fairly tasteless tweet, McEnany's comment is a comment his own political side would condemn. He made a joke about her looking like she should be on The Bachelor. Okay? I don't think that's out of bounds. Particularly the woke feminist mobs he often support. There we go. See? Marching is important. Voting is important. Even more important, give him the boot in the midterms, wrote the Family Guy creator, encouraging his followers to vote for Democrats in the upcoming November midterm.
It doesn't specifically say that though. What about so now you guys are all of a sudden against convoys and trucking protests? Isn't that exactly like marching?
Well, truckers want freedom.
Yeah, but I mean,
freedom.
couldn't you look at his tweet and be inspired to protest?
I hate playing whataboutism. Okay,
yeah,
listen.
seriously. I mean, he doesn't specify.
Just a few weeks later, McFarland doubled down on his call for support of Democratic candidates, tweeting, "Vote this fall, knock the GOP on their asses at the polls, and you have a chance to stop this." Still, I'm not seeing. Oh,
I see the same
or
thing.
keep them on their perch, enabling their greed, and live with the dark power of the gun lobby, and killing it, and all the killing it chooses to allow. He concluded, "It's your choice. It's that simple." Okay, here's the thing. He's an American citizen. He has a right to say whatever he wants, okay? As long as it's not inciting violence or making threats. Here's the thing. You cannot...
Tim Pool literally says the same thing, only get rid of the Democrats. Tim Pool literally says the same thing.
You cannot be for one person's free speech and against another's, okay? That's the thing. Listen, Bounding, I like what you do, okay? I like a lot of stuff you do. But you know what? I think you're way off base on this one.
This is a hit piece just to get everybody to
I'm tired of these people. Some of us are Magyar and hate. So okay, fine.
And that's okay to hate him.
You can hate him if you want.
It's also okay to defend him. I mean, we don't need an echo chamber.
Following Roe v. Wade's overturning, frustrated McFarland wrote on Twitter, "Not too long ago, this would have been a dystopian sci-fi, but the legacy of 2016 election and the indelible mark of the GOP is printed here in black and white. How much further will this go? Once again, depends on American voters." He went on, sharing a screenshot of the New York Times announcement of the news. "Blame extremism or apathy, but this is America." See, here's the thing I've heard it said about this, about the and what I always say about this is that Seth MacFarlane is an American citizen. He has a right to his opinion. Oh, well, you shouldn't be saying anything. No, he's an American citizen. He could chime in whenever he wants on any subject he wants. Okay.
He's not saying kill them like some of the other people do.
He has the same right to free speech as you do. Dawn the Wanderer, is he getting canceled for donating to Nancy Pelosi? What's going on? Dawn, this article appeared actually after the whole Orville episode that was about trans rights with the girl Topa, Bortus and Clyden's, the character of Topa, Bortus and Clyden's son, who was originally born a daughter, and they gave her they gave her surgery to have her become female. The timing of this is quite suspect.
Oh, everybody's mad at girls now.
Especially since there has been a shift in many parts and segments of the fandom that has been less than favorable to the issue of transgenderism and transgender people. I've said that previously that that episode in particular is the logical conclusion of an episode from 4 years ago, whatever it was, 2017, about a girl, and it brings it to its ultimate conclusion. And actually, it was concluded again when Topa was kidnapped and being brought to a black site, and the Mocklins were expelled. However, we see now that this episode, which was probably written about maybe 2 years ago, you think?
Probably, yeah. They were
they filmed in 2020, and it was delayed several times. And the timing of it actually, that it was broadcast, that was put up on Hulu for streaming. It just happened to work out that way. However, we see the shift in the fandom, especially from people like Tim, that people that the fandom actually follows, people like Tim Pool, will reference groomers, and Disney's a bunch of groomers and this and that. We see now that it seems to be not being received very favorably. I'm choosing my words very carefully here.
I'll just say, be mad at me. It's the outrage of the week that it's the Brie Larson that everybody's mad at. It's the thing that everybody has to go and slay. It's the dragon they have to go after, because that's the thing that proves that they're the better people than the people that they're against.
Well, I haven't seen that one yet. Maybe it has to do with the show being on Disney Hulu. Well, the association with Disney people, I'm surprised there's people they didn't. This didn't. Okay, well, you know what? This wasn't an issue until the whole "Don't Say Gay" bill. Now I'm going to go there. This was an issue till the whole "Don't Say Gay" bill, and after that, we saw quite a few people opportunistically taking advantage of that. Yes, you have the right to mock Seth. You do, just as anybody has the right to mock Seth. Glad I don't have the gender part psychology problems. No. The Orville is a great show. Have you managed to read the new Orville book? No, I have not. I wasn't aware there was one in there. Seth could be the next Soros, but I never thought he was conservative. Soros, to me, is another boogeyman. I'm not going to get into too much of that. I got to start my American Robot channel so I could talk about that. But Soros is another boogeyman. All I know is that I hate Illinois Nazis. So do I. But again, as I said, the timing of this seems very suspect. It really does. Just as the shift in the fandom is taking place now, all of a sudden, the Orville, which everyone praised and not that long ago as being the best new Star Trek series on television, all of a sudden, my God, Seth MacFarlane is supporting Nancy Pelosi and he supports abortion. All of a sudden, there's that shift. What is it? You need a new boogeyman? Somebody told you? Problem is, part of the problem, these have lived in big cities in their whole life. They have no understanding in small town. Well, we're not, it's Fanatic. Listen, I don't know if you're a bot or not, but I'm going to give you the Fanatic. Okay, listen. 80% of Americans live in or near a big city. Okay, it's not 1900 anymore. We're not an agrarian society. Okay, listen, and I'm not saying that disparaging people in the rural parts of America. And chances are, if your kid was born in a small town, he's not going to stay there. You know, things have changed. We are not. What? So yeah, all the industries, the farming, coal mining. You know, the jobs have moved. The jobs and the employment in things of that nature, and economics and investment and all that, education have moved from the small rural areas to the big cities.
And this guy was eating it.
It was happening at the turn of the previous century. It's still happening. I'm not. If you look at, even just in terms of education, now people disparage the big cities as shithole cities. Even if you look in terms of education is more well funded in the bigger cities than in the rural communities. I understand because they don't have the tax base. But you look at a state like Kansas. Where they cut everything across the board in some sort of misguided experiment to prove that tax cuts for the wealthy would trickle down. It was a disaster. It was an outright disaster. It caused people to flee Kansas. So this idea that, we have no understanding of rural America. We see what happens in rural America. Don't think we're not shut off completely on the East Coast from rural America. I'm from the New York area, okay? Listen, you don't have to go far in New York to see rural country. I hate to say rural America is becoming a thing of the past. Rural living is it's listen, there's a reason why you live near a city is to get things like internet, even just to have shit to do. I want to go to a baseball game. Okay, fine, let's go to a baseball game. Transportation, education, finance. Was that? Free concerts on Fremont Street.
You know, there's gonna be a Target open in tampons at 3 a.m.
You go to Central Park, they have free concerts. All sides of the culture war reading about X and Y. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos, all Russian oligarchs, fentanyl producing triads are running with all. Well, that's typically what happens is they get us fighting so they can run off with all the money. So we keep us fighting over scraps. If you nuked New York, Miami, we have lose about 30 million people right now. The trend towards living in big cities right now. The trend is living in big cities. 2,000 years ago may have been shift when people migrate back to country. Well, like I said, the whole thing about this. And again, I went off on a completely different tangent, though. So, but still, like I said, to say that we have no understanding of people in rural areas. Listen, maybe we don't. Okay, maybe we don't. Would like to talk about coal mining. Well, I do know. Listen, all I know about it is what I read. Okay, those coal jobs aren't coming back. Those coal jobs in a lot of places aren't coming back, and they're being automated. A lot of them.
Who wants to do that and have
Nobody wants to do. Yeah, nobody wants to do those jobs. Cities suck. Wish I could leave mine. Maybe someday. Is it? Well, there's okay. Well, there's. But I'm just saying. There's going to be advantages to living in a city. Advantages to living in a city. Some people like the country. Some people like the city. I prefer living in a city. Okay.
I like Vegas. There's everything to do. It's not too big.
I mean, yeah. Does it have its drawbacks? Yeah. Okay. But you know what? Like I said, but this again. Well, getting back to this is looking very. The timing of this it looks quite suspect to me. And I'm really I'm just wondering what's going to come next, because this isn't going to be the end of it. There's going to be another shoe that's going to drop here.
Well, Pelosi was trending because of the Taiwan stuff.
Yeah,
and everybody's mad at the
Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi.
Mad at the trans and groomer and all that stuff.
Nancy Pelosi is going to Taiwan.
Hopefully.
Actually, you know what? It's Seth MacFarlane is from a town called Kent, Connecticut, which is actually a rural area. So take that as you will.
He's one of those creepy homeschool kids.
Yeah, he is.
He's a creepy homeschool kid.
Actually, no, he went to Kent. He went to Kent prep school, so he was fairly wealthy. He says he will not. I love living off the grid. Made my money in the city. Okay, fine. Problem with the Orville, I don't want to subscribe to Disney Hulu. Just probably buy it when it's on sale. Yeah, but again, there's going to be another shoe that drops here. Again, but the whole idea. But the whole idea is that we heard for how long get politics out of our entertainment. It is now become abundantly clear. Get politics out of our entertainment, except for my politics. So what you want us to approve? You want me to run it by you to approve what I'm going to see, what I'm going to write? It's just strange. It's just really strange to me that it happens now. It shouldn't be strange, but it is. All right, everyone. Before we wrap up, listen, we're going an hour and a half. Before we wrap up. We have a birthday to commemorate. Actually, it took a long time to get there, but a very significant day in history today. George Jetson was born today, July 31st, 2022. He came into the world near the end of the MCU Phase 4 and began in a few months before the beginning of Phase 5. So, George Jetson, born on this day. Da-da-da-da. One of my favorite TV shows, The Jetsons. Love the Jetsons. Love the Jetsons. Love the Flintstones. Love Top Cat. I'm uncomfortable even when my own politics are awkwardly expressed in entertainment from one of politicians. Because, yeah, that's true. Happy birthday, George Jetson. Congratulations, Hanna-Barbera. Woohoo, George. Congrats, George Jetson. Trowelfaz. Yuck. God, it's a deep dive on that one. All right, everyone. Listen, we had 42 people watching at some point. Let's wrap it up there. I don't have any animal news. I'll probably be back next week with more animal news. But we went along in this. I'm going to leave this. I always leave the stream up as always. Actually, we did lose another person today. We lost NBA legend Bill Russell. Passed away at 88. Bill, legend, Hall of Famer, legend, absolute legend. So, gentleman and a scholar, Bill Russell. Helped revolutionize the game too. Okay, everyone. But George Jetson, born on this day. That is where we're going to leave it. Everyone, I'd like to thank everyone. Yes, Bernard Cribbins also passed away. Sadly, we lost Wilf from Doctor Who. So remembering Wilf, everyone. But as we go today, remember those who left us and go celebrate. Whatever you're doing, everyone have a good day. Have a good day. Are you doing a stream later? We're probably doing What the Dub tonight. I want everyone to have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay careful out there. Actually, I didn't get a chance to talk about the GTA stuff, but I'll probably do that next week or sometime. Maybe a makeup stream. I don't know. Everyone have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. No drinking. No driving. And as always, we will catch you next time.